Hello and welcome to Silver Wheel Tarot. My name is April. Today we're going to be doing another Study With Me live session. So in these sessions, basically what we are doing is studying tarot in one way or another. At the moment, what we are doing is walking through the entire book, Tarot Reversals by Mary K. Greer. This book right here. Okay, so we've gone through the beginning chapters, and if you like, you can follow along also on my Fable account, Silver Wheel Tarot. There is a book club group there as well to read the book. And what we're going to be doing today is going through the beginning section of the Major Arcana cards. So I have pre-read the section because today what I'm going to be doing is working on myself, is I'm going to be working on filling out some flashcards with the keywords. So this particular book has a really great selection of keywords, both upright and reversed for the cards. And this author, she pulls from multiple traditional sources. So not just Rider-Waite-Smith, not just uh, from one source. She pulls also from, I think she stated in the text, Los Scarabeo deck definitions, as well as some of the older deck authors. We have Rider-Waite-Smith traditional keywords in there, as well as just a bunch of others. It's a really good compilation. I'm trying to think of something specific, but it's not coming to mind, so that's okay. So anyways, the other videos, if you're interested in that we've done so far, basically we have gone through and I read during the 20-minute study sessions, and then we discussed after each 20 minutes. We then discussed for about 10 minutes in what we read. So today's, since I have already pre-read the information and I'm working on flashcards, we can discuss whatever, if there's any questions or anything in between. But that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today. So we'll be studying for 20 minutes, followed by about a 10-minute discussion or so. I usually do about 2 rounds of that, but today, unfortunately, I am only going to be doing 1 round of that because I have some other things I need to take care of. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch the camera view here so you can watch what I'm doing if you like as you're studying yourself. And what we're going to do is basically study for 20 minutes and then we can chat afterwards. Okay, I think that's going to be about good for our 20 minutes of study. I think if I start on my next card, we'll run over on the time for that. Hello, Pattern Breaker. Welcome. Glad to have you back. So today we are just basically having pre-read. I read through the first third of the Major Arcana, so the Fool through the Chariot this week. I have synced up the book with my group over on Fable as well, so the timing is the same per week. So we'll have 2 more weeks of the Major Arcana, and so flashcards. Why flashcards, and why am I doing it different than I was saying I might be doing it? So I originally was going to have the cards like this, and I was going to select, because as you can see there are so many keywords in this book. I was going to select just the number of lines here. I think there's like 10 lines out of the keywords. And then on the flip side, I was going to put the description of the shamanic description of the reversal that she gives. However, I have been finding that there is a ton of information in this book. I will probably use this book in general as a reference tool. So if I want to look up a shamanic meaning for something, or a magical meaning, also a healing meaning, a part of the body. Sometimes she has on some of these psychological projection, like for each card, what the description would mean if you're projecting it onto somebody else, the reverse meaning as a projection. Most of them also have a meaning for what part of the body, or if there's any type of like sickness, what it would be, what the card could indicate. And then she also gives the shamanic scenario meaning, as well as a magical one also. It is interesting, right? I mean, it's just so much information though. So I decided against basically writing the entire book on the back flashcards. And I also decided against only selecting 10 keywords. And I decided to basically use these cards to write down every keyword for her cards. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, I already know how to read tarot, and I am an intuitive reader, and I know a lot of the keywords and symbolisms and all of that good stuff, in addition to reading intuitively. If I was a brand new reader, I would still highly suggest selecting a number of keywords, because if this is, say, the book you start with, because there's so many keywords. And for anybody who might watch this video later as well, if you are newer to tarot, you can select, as number of keywords as there are lines, and you can break them up into groups. So when I memorize things, I tend to memorize them well in groups of 3 or 4. So for me, to memorize keywords, I like to memorize them in groups of 3 or 4. So I would do maybe 3 sets of 3, right? 3 keywords, another 3, and another 3. That way, if I'm flipping my card over, I'm only trying to memorize 3 at a time, not all 10 per se, right? So that's a way you can do it. And since I'm not going to be using the cards this way, I'm more going to use it as a reference point. I would like to have the flashcards to compare to other decks and other readings and other interpretations, right? If I'm studying or practicing doing a spread or a made-up reading to practice, then I may do a reading and get what I would normally get out of the reading with the keywords that I would typically use. And then I might pull these cards out for the cards I got and look through her keywords, because There were some keywords that surprised me. For instance, like, my glasses back on. For the Lovers, she has trials surmounted. I mean, I suppose if that's in relation to a relationship, sure, or a business partnership, um, I can see where she gets balance between forces. Um, some of the other ones, let's see here. For the Hierophant, I mean, I can see where she gets some of them, like captivity. If you're taking a perspective of, say, servitude, and if servitude feels like being, you know, a prisoner and being forced to serve someone as opposed to serving out of gratitude and love, right? There's different applications. But there were, I can't see which ones there were, but as I flipped through this, there were some keywords that jumped out to me that were like, that's not the keyword that I would use. And that's okay, and that's great, and it's fantastic, because it is many different perspectives as I can get on the tarot. Is just going to broaden and deepen my knowledge and understanding, which is why you know, the learning of tarot is never ending. There's always more to learn. There's always a new perspective to be had. And I feel like there are new perspectives in this book for me. And so the cards will be a quick reference if I'm doing a reading to pull it out and go, okay, well, this is the reading I got from what I would typically get, or intuition, or the keywords I know. And then I can read through these and go, oh, Lovers. You know, she's got indecision as a thing for Lovers. Well, maybe if it's indecision related to relationship, right? So some of the keywords are, if they're taken out of context of a relationship or Lovers or a business agreement, then the keywords might not work for me personally. So it's interesting. It makes me think, and I love things that make me think and make me see things from a different perspective. And so that's why I decided to go ahead and use these flashcards in that way. I'm just writing out all the keywords for the upright and reversals, so as a quick reference. If I don't need a quick on-the-go reference, I can clearly pull out this book, or, you know, any of the other books that I have, and my notes, you know, things like that. But we're studying, right? That's the point here, is to learn new perspectives. And so, yeah, there were some keywords in here that just really, Empress, reversed, paralysis. I probably wouldn't use that word, but I can see where she got the word, and it makes me think more of, okay, well, if Empress upright is fertility, and if fertility is representing growth and makes me think of springtime, then paralysis could be like a hold on that, a freeze on that, a stop, right? It says here you could use a highlighter pen on the cards also to incise ones that you like. Yes, emphasize. Yeah, that's a great idea. I might actually do that to make them stand out a little bit more. But yeah, I also, the thing is she has pulled from Lo Scarabeo. She's pulled from Rider-Waite-Smith. She's pulled from the Marseille decks. She has pulled from basically all these different types of cards. They are traditional meanings. And so it's also interesting to me that some of these keywords that for me wouldn't be my first go-tos, or ones that I would traditionally think, though that goes with the card, it may be because it's coming from a different train of thought. Like, most of my tarot knowing is Rider-Waite or Rider-Waite based, themed off of decks. So yeah, so it gets me going. It's interesting. I like things that get the thought process really going. Um, yeah, that's what I have. Do you guys have any questions or anything? We do have a few minutes. I don't have a lot of time today to stay on longer. I usually do at least 2 sessions of 20 minutes, but I have some things I've got to do this afternoon or this evening. So, but I'll give you guys just a minute in case anybody wants to ask a question. But yeah, so I'm gonna do this format pretty much for the rest of going through the cards. I'm going to pre-read it and then spend some time writing out the flashcards during our study session portion of our live streams. And then again, we can chat anything that comes up. Like this time it was just my thoughts on, how I'm going to use the flashcards. But we're definitely open here for everybody if you have any questions on the cards in general or anything tarot related. Pattern Breaker asks, do you have a favorite major? Yes, I would say that it chose me though, because this is the card that pops up the most for me out of all time, and that is the Death card. So it's, for me, it's a symbol of transformation and change, and it really resonates with my energy and my life experience and learning experience and everything. So I really love that card. It's my favorite major arcana. So we haven't gotten to that one yet. So this book, while it doesn't give us things, it doesn't give us things like correspondences, but it gives a lot of unique perspectives. That was another thing that I found going through the reading portion of the cards, not just her keywords, but some of her example scenarios she gives are ones that maybe either just in my life experience or in reading the cards aren't scenarios that I've come across. And so it was very interesting to see, and I can see how she relates those scenarios to the cards and their upright or reverse meaning. So this book has really been great for different perspectives. And Pattern Breaker says, oh, that's your card, Scorpio. Awesome. Do you like it? Or do you have a different favorite major arcana card? Which one's your favorite? And I actually, which deck? What deck do you like it out of? My favorite card is the Death card, and I always look in every deck to see what the card looks like. And for me, the favorite card is the version of it is the Light Seers Tarot, where it's like this hooded figure. Oh, the sun. Yes. Yes. The sun's good also. I love that card. What do you think about the sun? I've seen a lot of people say in recent years that the sun is positive no matter what, upright or reverse. And I can see that. I can see a lot of the sun being maybe lesser or equal. I've heard people say that they feel that it is equally as good. It's the best card in the deck, and it's equally as good upright or reversed. And I think sometimes, yes, but I don't think always. It doesn't always show up that way for me. If the sun card shows up in reverse, it could be a lack of, really, sometimes, as opposed to just a like a lesser, great news or positive environment. Yeah, Light Seers is one of my favorite decks. I just love the whole aesthetic of it. Yep, depends on the other cards in the read. Yeah. I thought it was interesting though to see that that's one of the perspectives out there, is that some people read with it as always positive no matter what. Um, I think its intention has a lot to do with it with reading. You know, we all read so differently, and we all have different methods and approaches to reading the tarot, even in our study of the tarot, how we learn and how we incorporate that. And we've all had different life experiences, and I think that that has an effect on how we read as well. Um, and so it's just really interesting to see how other people do it. And I love seeing the different perspectives. Yeah, the sun's, it's always good to see it. Even if the surrounding cards and the message isn't always the 100% positive news, but yeah, it's a good card. Well, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I didn't have as much time. I do apologize. These will be typically as they have been, where I do 2 sessions of a 20-minute study, silent, and then 10-minute discussion or answering questions, or whatever we want to do during the 10 minutes. Um, I just, I don't know about you guys, but the energy lately has been crazy, and so I've got some things I've got to take care of. But is anybody feeling the you do astrology, don't you, pattern breaker? There was some sort of alignment or something. It's not my primary, um, but yeah, this week is an intense one. You too, have a great week. Thank you. All right, well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions or anybody else dropping in, so I'm going to go ahead and call it, and I will see you all next week. All right, have a good one.